My friend Megan and I were having coffee by the riverside and talking about D&D. I was asking her if the players had made plans about what they were going to do next. My players are very high level and they can teleport and plane shift anytime they want and basically go to places and run into an invisible wall that says under construction, because I had no idea that they were going to go there and I do not know what's in these places. Because of these abilities, being prepared is not as easy as it used to be. So I was just trying to figure out what I should prepare for upcoming adventures. That's when she said, at this point, we're just trying to do damage mitigation. This did two things. One, it kind of shot me through the heart. I felt like I must have let my players down severely. Why else would she say that? But I didn't give up. I kept thinking about this for a while and trying to figure out why they might feel that way, what they might be missing. Are the challenges too hard? Does it feel like everything is a hopeless situation and it doesn't matter what we do? Things are going to go so bad that we'll just be there picking up the pieces? I was thinking that they were doing a great job stopping the bad guys and saving the world over and over again. Why would they think that they were only trying to do damage mitigation? And one day, while driving to work, I thought I knew the answer. Hey everybody, Shubharoop here. When we were playing through Lost Mine of Phandelver, my players rolled into Phandalin and they met two little kids playing pretend. One of them had a toy wooden rapier and was waving it around swashbuckling, well, as swashbuckling as an 8-year-old kid can be. The other one was speaking gibberish and making strange noises and doing elaborate hand movements. His interpretation of arcane incantations and magical sounds. When one of the PCs asked them who they were, the kid with the rapier said that he was the Thief King, Kite in the Storm. The other kid said he was a great wizzy, Salazar. He's too little to say wizard, doesn't know what that word really means. So he goes with Wizzy. Who are these characters, you ask? Well, they are the player characters from the other campaign. In my main campaign, which I've now been running for 2 years, the players are very high level. They're basically living legends. They've saved a bunch of towns to the north of the Sword Coast a few times from imminent doom. So, obviously, little kids all around the area are hearing exaggerated versions of their heroism and how they're stopping bad guys and killing monsters. So when they play pretend, they pretend to be these heroes. Why is this relevant, you ask? Well, this harks back to my politics video where I said the players need to be able to change the world. I don't see a lot of discussion about it online, at least not where I am looking, but I think this is a very important, if not the most important part of the DM's job. You present your world to the players react to the world, and then the world reacts to the players. By players, I mean the player characters. Henceforth, whenever I say players, you will get from context whether I mean the players or the player characters. Now, as I was saying, after the PCs are done doing whatever they were doing, the world has to react to them. Don't skip that part. That last part is monumentous. If you don't show the world's reaction to the players, then you are denying them the fruits of their hard work. You are putting them in a position where they're trying super hard to do damage mitigation and not really seeing any results and feeling hopeless and finding no satisfaction in it. Let there be victory parades in your player characters' honors. Let there be young adventurers who are aspiring to be like them and become their fans. Let there be sycophants who show up to bask in the reflected glory of their success. You know what they say, success is relative. The more success you have, the more relatives you have. I asked on Facebook what are the biggest DM faults, and a huge majority voted for this answer: not letting the world change as the players interact with it. You see? Players like to see the result of their adventures. I'm not saying that you drag the denouement for 6 months in real life, but keep a lookout for opportunities to show the players how the world perceives them after they've saved it a few times. They need to know that they are making a difference. The adventurers are risking their lives. They're giving up any hope of a semblance of a normal life. And they need to know that
you can make a difference.
The example with the little kids playing pretend is funny, but it's not very useful in the grand scheme of things. I realize that not every DM has the luxury of showing the results of one campaign in another campaign. So here's a much simpler example. My players had cut through most of a cult and killed most of them. This cult was comprised mainly of people who were powerful but social outcasts. Their bitterness towards society was manipulated and weaponized by a beholder. He liked to call himself the clairvoyant. There was a half-dwarf, half-Duergar in the cult who was born from a Duergar raid on a dwarven stronghold. You get it. As a result, dwarves who hate Duergars saw his half-Duergar lineage and made him an outcast. The players, instead of killing him, started talking to him. They lectured the dwarf about how his bitterness should not be used to justify his evil actions against normal people, and sent him on his way. They let him go. Recently, the same dwarf has shown up in their hometown. He has changed his ways and is now looking for a legitimate job. The paladin player feels good about this. Here's another example. Megan's character, Sosieth, was talking to one of their staunch allies in a very mellow scene. This was an NPC that she was talking to, and I saw the chance to play out a whole scene from Star Trek Generations. Yes, there will be spoilers from Star Trek Generations, but I think the movie has been out for 30 years now, so it's on you if this spoils it for you. You know the scene I'm talking about, the one where Kirk tells Picard that do not ever leave the bridge of the Enterprise because while you were there, you were making a difference. I stole the whole scene. The NPC started the dialogue by saying, do you ever wonder what it would be like when all this is over? This immediately sets a certain tone for the scene. We know that this is not a frivolous moment. The NPC just paraphrased Kirk. She said, I wish I had never stopped adventuring and started pushing pieces on a political chessboard. She turned to Sosieth and said, because while you were out there, you were making a difference. Megan's character said, it's nice to be reminded of that once in a while. Now, this is a complicated piece of advice, but I think I'm obligated to tell you that this probably only comes into play for heroic fantasies. Murder hobos, and I'm not saying that, let's say a different word, power gamers might not worry about all of this. They might not be too invested in their character or the world. They probably just want to use their cool abilities to kill monsters. If you're running a game like that, there's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but this is probably not very relevant advice. The takeaway from this video is not to throw regal parties and carnivals in honor of the players at every street corner of the adventure. No, but it is important to show the players that they are making a difference in the world. We often talk about a recurring villain and how awesome it is, but it is also possible to consider the possibility that the players get through to the villain. They make him see the wrong in his ways. He gives up the old life, changes his nature, and becomes a good guy. That way we have a recurring good guy.
Sounds like fun.
Let me know what you think about all this in the blah blah below. I'm genuinely curious to know what your thoughts are on this subject. If you haven't thought about this before, I hope that you will at least consider it and maybe it will make your players' lives happier. In the end, that's all that matters. That's it, folks. Hopefully you found something in the video that resonates with you. Thank you for watching and let me know your thoughts because I want to know.
We make a difference.